Hi everyone, Curtis Edwards here, host of Tea Talk with Curtis. I've got a very special guest with me today, David Temko, president of C2 Financial. David, thanks for being with me today.
Great to be here, Curtis.
So, as part of Tea Talk, I see that you've already been drinking that, but you got your exclusive Tea Talk mug. What are you drinking today?
Oh, I got some pour over coffee going. Not a big.
Yeah. I'm not into coffee so much. Tea has kind of been my jam. My partner Jeremy, when we first started Orion, and we were in an office about the size of this one. We drank so much tea just to energize us. Long days. I'm sure you know what that's like, man.
Absolutely. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I got to do all this, but first coffee.
First coffee. Yeah. Yeah, iced coffee is pretty good. I can do iced coffee, just black iced coffee. I can get down with that. All right, so you're a busy man. Outside of mortgage, how's life been? Lenny and I were checking out your Instagram and seeing you do a lot of travel, a lot of trips. Anything you've done lately?
Yeah, I do one big surf trip a year. So I took a nice trip with a buddy of mine to Bali. Got some waves out there, super fun. Just it's been years since I was there, so I got that kind of an end of summer trip. And then recently was down in a town called San Miguel de Allende. One of our top producers, her husband, another couple, and we went down there and got our faces painted and enjoyed some of the festivities. So it was really cool.
Nice. Lenny was admiring your hat.
Oh yeah,
the one with the bullets on it or something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
That is, I've got a pretty cool hat maker out of LA, so I've got a few of those, and they're a statement.
Yeah, it's like Crocodile Dundee.
For sure. I've actually had to pull the bullets out of that hat and use them on a hunt before. So it comes in use.
So it's functional. So you gotta be careful flying with that thing, apparently, huh?
Absolutely.
So recently, Marquise Who's Who top executive mentioned in the article that you're an accomplished artist. What's that about?
Yeah, it's funny. You did some DD on this. So I used to do a lot of art when I was a kid. I was really into it. As a child, my mom got me into it. I was always really creative and artistic and like different mediums. And so did that all through, from elementary school through high school. And it's just always been kind of a creative outlet. And then I was like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to be how much money there is to be made in art. And I felt like if I were to do it, then I should have a business degree or have a, some business acumen. So I went away to college and to get a business degree. I did take an art class my freshman year in college, just as a creative outlet, whatever, dealing with stress and stuff like that. And then I got out of college and I went into business. So I was
Yeah, this actually stood out to me because when I went to college, my major is industrial design.
Okay.
So I did 7 years of art history and physics and design and all that kind of stuff. And I'll never forget, it was like one of my last classes. I think I was in year 6. One of my professors, he said, industrial design could be anything, because I wanted to design cars. That was my thing. I draw cars all the time. And he's like, industrial design could be designing pins or anything. And I was like, I'm not going to design pins for the rest of my life. So I changed to business marketing. But even here at Orion, I'm very, very much involved in the graphic design and the marketing and all that kind of stuff. So that stood out to me because you don't meet too many artists. But like you, when I was a kid, I did a lot of drawing. Art kind of runs deep in the blood of my family. So it was that kind of stood out. I thought that was a pretty cool thing. All right, let's get to C2. So C2 has various business channels. You have your commercial lending, which obviously comes from your background. You've got your real estate, and you have your residential broker division. What are the plans with each in this upcoming year?
Great questions, and I believe that having that diversity is a big value add of our platform at C2. And the real estate side's been unique because it's really the initial development of that was because we're in California, a DRE licensed state. If you're a salesperson and you hang your license with a broker, you pretty much have to do all the transactions under there. And if you want to do a real estate transaction, you want to make sure we could facilitate that. It's been recently that I've kind of been taking a deep dive into seeing what all the other shops offer for different splits, what people actually use, realtors, what they actually use. And if there's a way for us to create a value add or kind of find that fine line in between what is available and what we can provide on C2's platform for a realtor, for us to attract a realtor that wants to come and either wants to potentially learn how to do lending and have the breadth of what we have for the lending side, and or be teamed up with very established veteran loan officers that are really the crux in the that get a deal listed to a deal closed, and they can be very in tune with that kind of a team. So it's kind of twofold: is attracting realtors that want to do loans, or attracting realtors that want to be around top producing loan officers, kind of that reciprocity.
Sure, and have the reputation that goes along with C2 as well.
Absolutely. So we're diving into that and seeing how we can do it. The commercial side of things, that's a tough one to scale, just because it's a very specialized craft in terms of product and knowledge and delivery. And that's my background. I was in commercial banking and brokerage and all that stuff. And so I built that division. It was my baby. And I trained a gentleman for like a year and a half and said, all right, here's the reins, now you go. And so now we're really starting to educate more of our loan officers to be able to do commercial. We're starting to attract commercial loan officers. It's an outlet for a lot of our loan officers to be a financial resource. They've done such a great job for their clients on the residential side. They're successful in their own regard. That borrower either has a business, owns investment properties, has a strong W-2, and they go, hey, you did a great job on my loan, on my residential loan, can you help me with this apartment building? And in the past, people had to say no, and we want to make sure that, at C2, you're a full financial and real estate resource. And I really am working on growing that division. We were in talks with bringing on somebody that's in the Midwest. And so we're trying to create like regional commercial loan officers that can facilitate the needs of loan officers around them and their clients. So they have a go-to. And, I'm so glad you asked. We have a specialist at C2 that helps with that, or they have the ability to learn too. So it's we're working on scaling that one.
The lines are starting to be blurred a little bit. Yesterday we rolled our newest product, which is 5 to 8 and 2 to 8 mixed use. So kind of goes along the lines of commercial, but we've always been residential. But everyone's starting to kind of dabble in each other's fields a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, 5+ is a different playing field than 2 to 4 or 1 to 4. You're different. I mean, it's 1 to 4 you're consumer, 5+ you're getting in. Obviously, that's true commercial, and it's just a little bit of a different animal. So very cool you guys are doing that. I'll have to let Brandon over there know.
Yeah. We just rolled it yesterday. CoinX. We'll see what the future holds for that.
Sweet.
So C2 has grown to nearly 1,000 loan officers, 140 locations nationwide. At least that's what NMLS has for you. How is C2 different from the competition?
Well, I think we have a very collaborative culture that promotes success. We have loan officers here that have just a winning mindset. And, I feel like if you're on a winning team, you're going to play every game better. And it's, Kobe Bryant won a lot of games because he was dedicated to his craft. We have a lot of folks that are dedicated to their craft and they push their teammates to be great. And it's crazy. It's like we've got, whether you call them lone wolves or loan sharks or whatever it is, everybody's here to help each other. And, we're starting to attract younger talent. And one of our sales, components is, hey, you're in a vacuum where you're at. And if you come to C2, you're opening up, you're unlimiting your world of knowledge, and you can learn every day. Because I believe, you leading your organization, me leading my organizations, every day is still a school day, and I'm here to improve and be better at what I can do and lead my team. And I think that everybody here kind of, embodies that kind of culture.
In this market, loan originators can't afford to turn down any borrowers. C2 Financial is a top broker in the nation with a network of over 100 wholesale lenders, including Orion Lending. This gives loan originators competitive options for any borrower scenario across forward, reverse, and commercial loans. C2 is licensed in 23 states and growing. They are the #1 mortgage broker in the country according to 2021 MLS annual production volume. If you are a loan originator looking to make a move, consider joining C2 Financial. Learn more at www.joinc2.com. NMLS number 135622.
So in wholesale, that generational gap is something that we're experiencing and trying to work through. So you mentioned you're attracting some younger talent. How do you attract top talent and maintain them? Maintain the team member satisfaction?
Yeah, well, our company was built on a suggestion box. I gave a speech at our last C2 Connect conference, and there was a video that I played on my dad from 1996 saying, hey, if there's something you need, you let us know. And from 1996, we've continued to grow this organization based on, what we thought was great and the feedback we got to make it better. And that would be, the systems we have in place, the lender relationships that we've deepened over those years. So we attract talent, predominantly because people are, want to come to a place with our kind of culture. It aligns with them. They want to be part of that tribe. In the past, we've generally been a place where it was somebody that was really kind of towards the end of their, continuum of their career. Like they started at a retail bank, they got low splits, but they got leads, they had the water cooler, and they get to this place where like, hey, these are my clients. I want to go to a place with high splits and the services things that I don't want to think about that are provided. So they land at us. But it's like the earlier I can get folks that are in, that understand the business, but they're early in their career. Once they get to C2 and they realize the waters are warm, their runway is like exponentially long to find success. And so that's what I like to promote. That's what I like to engage younger folks on and really get them in and grow with them and support them through that process.
Sure. And because you have so many top producing loan officers, right, you can provide best practice and give them great, real world suggestions that will help them grow their business rather than, pie in the sky. Hey, if you make this many calls, you'll get, this many borrowers or this many realtors or blah, 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 blah. Actually real world marketing that's working for your existing, team members today. Being that culture is such an important thing. It's an important thing for us. It's an important thing for every company, right? What are some of the things that you guys do to maintain a winning culture and keep it intact?
Well, like I mentioned the C2 Connect conference, which is, it's a great culture, like company culture event. It's high energy, and I really enjoy it. I usually have some epiphany on what I want to speak about, and I have some analogy. And the last one I kind of came out with a Top Gun theme, and C2 Financial is kind of an aircraft carrier, and every loan officer is like has their own fighter jet, and it was really fun, but it's true, and it's just so it's keeping folks engaged on that level that we're here to support them. It's also so there's that when we get together like physically and kind of feel that energy. It's also on a daily basis. We have messaging apps where if you have a need, no matter where you're at, like I'm in my office in San Diego, you're out in Dallas, I've got loan officers all over the nation, AEs all over the nation, and there could be a scenario and they don't know how to figure that out. They could go on a messaging app through our, within our company. Hey, I've got this scenario, a loan officer, hey, I've dealt with that, I chime in. Hey, an AE, a great AE, Justin Simpers, jumps in, goes, hey, this is how we do it, I can help you, boom, boom, boom. And that deal is getting done at lightning speed compared to where that person may have not had that support. They just, they're out on an island where all these islands are connected. We have that connection. So that's one way for that culture to continue. And it is just really everybody being themselves. Like I love this company. I got my surfboard in the back. We've got,
See, is that a $1 bill on it?
Yeah, it's the first dollar I ever made.
Yeah, is actually into the resin?
Yes, it is.
Nice. So every time you're surfing, you look down, you remember why you're doing what you're doing, and how you can afford to be out there on the waves in the middle of the day, and your freedom. I love it, man. I have a little jar with my first dollar that was given to me by one of my mentors that I keep on my desk, and I'm actually thinking about introducing it to a lot of the newer AEs that we've hired, and just kind of remind them why they're here. Because every day I look at it and I'm like, that's why I'm here. It's meaningful. So tech is big to you guys, and I appreciate the hell out of that. We spend a ton of money on tech all the time. You guys got the good, the bad, the ugly, which is good, bad, or ugly. I mean, depending on which side of the fence you're on. But that transparency is, I think, is really cool. What are some of the recent tech things you guys have rolled in your portal to help make the loan officer's job easier?
Well, a lot of it is, well, there's ways for them to sift through the lenders that we have in our database that are, for them based on scenario boards, or they type in scenarios and they can figure out who the lenders are that are going to be the most effective, the most competitive quickly for that borrower that they're working with. So that's on the forefront. That's super important. A lot of the tech that, that our loan officers use, they learn from the best practices. And there's we invest internally to make sure that they have the platform and the relationships to leverage and finding out which relationships to use quickly, but also systems that we can put in place for them to get paid quickly as well. So, we have the infrastructure to deal with compliance, to make sure that they're supported and they can go out and do what they're the best at, which is selling and having the right products to do so. So we're working on some tech stuff all the time, and but we do lean on a lot of our partners for tech as well. So it's just making sure to identify, what the best tech stack is for, that the characteristics of that loan officer and guiding them to finding that stuff quickly.
Sure. Product. So I'm heavily involved in product capital markets. It's kind of always been a thing since I was an AE. I always, my value add to my brokers where I know my guidelines better than my underwriter does. And that was something that really helped me in my, the evolution of my career. So it's weird to say this because the industry has shifted a little bit from agency to non-agency, right? With the executions on the agency side being not so great the last 6 months. And rates moving up so quickly, but then you look at the non-agency side, and you're seeing some tombstones there as well because the market's moved up so quick and that sort of thing. But from a product standpoint, what do you feel is a product that the market is in the most need of today? Like, what are you hearing your loan officers ask for all the time?
All of them, jumbo,
seconds.
Seconds. But yeah, I mean, you have to pivot. There's opportunity in every market. It's just figuring out nobody's touching their first, 2 or 3% right now. So it's really figuring out what, if they have a need, what you can do to keep that intact, to blend it, to make it more competitive than refinancing it all, So there are standalone seconds. They could be, bank statement seconds. That stuff's great, unique. But it's also, having, as a broker, having the ability to identify and quickly see all those products will put them in the forefront. That's stuff that bankers just don't have, Mm-hmm. So there's that. And I mean, I just believe that it just requires having all those products at your fingertips, because you're going to be able to find a perfect match in any market, regardless of the conditions, because of everybody has a need at some point. So
mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the things I'm challenged with. I've always tried to keep product, somewhat concise and not try to be a jack of all and an expert of none, right? But in this market, it really feels like you need as much product as possible, whether it be buy downs.
Yes.
I'm talking to one of my non-agency outlets on doing buy downs on non-agency. Even a DSCR, 8% rate. If I could get the borrower 6% for the first 2 years, still qualify them on the 8, but get them a 6% from a payment standpoint, and have the seller or the builder, pay that buy down. That's a win-win. Plus, it insulates a little bit from early payoff, that sort of thing. If and when the rates do swing back down, fingers crossed sooner than later. It's all about, kind of back here on my wall, I've got imagination is more important than knowledge. Because that's what it takes right now in this industry, is having a good imagination on product and pitching it and seeing who's interested and whether it makes financial sense.
And that education piece is key. And that's what we're working on right now, as well as making sure that realtors are aware of educating their sellers on what's realistic and what's going to make them competitive as a seller, and being realistic with, and that could be, hey, in order to attract the most buyers to your property that you want to sell right now, is getting them acclimated with that 2-1 buy down, because then, all of a sudden there's buyers that go, they can see their agent that's representing them. So, hey, we're going to go see this house. The sellers are aware of the 2-1 buy down. they're here to help you. If you're interested in the property, you want to make a competitive offer, it's going to be more competitive because they have that. So there's an education piece, and people, I think that they might slightly be in the dark from a buyer's and seller's perspective. I think it's shifting obviously to be a buyer's market if they have that affordability, but it's going to take some accommodation on both sides. So that's unique. It's getting realtors educated, buyers and sellers acclimated with the new market, and getting deals done, you know.
Brokers, did you know that the Orion Lending team is committed to you and your mission for purchases? Orion provides enhanced turn times for FHA, VA, USDA, and Genoa down payment assistance purchases, all of which are at 24 hours. Orion offers a diverse portfolio of loan programs to meet your business needs. To take a look at their entire product suite, visit www.orionlending.com/products.
Yeah, that's. I think that's a place where you guys will excel over just normal real estate shops. The fact that you are a broker, and you have the real estate side. In talking to friends out here that just do the real estate, I talk to them about the loan side of it. They're completely naive to the different products that are out there. Their broker, the real estate broker says, "Here's our partner on loans," and that's all they go to. And if it doesn't fit, they send the borrower or the buyer rather to go find a loan somewhere else. Where you guys having that partnership between real estate and the broker side is the residential broker side is that's pretty important too, because you have access to so many different products with all the lenders that you're partnered with.
For sure, and I think that's another thing to educate realtors on is like, hey, we respect the fact that a borrower or their buyer could have a banking relationship. And they're going to go, to their bank and say, hey, I've been doing all my banking with you and I want to buy this house, can you give me a loan? And sure, they're going to, maybe they run, they can run on the A seat, but, in the driver's seat, but that realtor should definitely have a C2 loan officer or a broker riding shotgun, because that bank could fumble and you want to make sure that slack is picked up, that ball gets picked up and it's ran to the end zone. And that's where our broker is really going to come in, because we have all these options, because we can really pivot around with different lenders. We're not a one-trick pony. You have all these options. It's important.
Yep. Brokers being brokers.
That's right.
So earlier this year, you participated in an interview with MPA and mentioned when partnering with lenders, you've got to be focused on your craft and continuously improve every day. Recently, we had the opportunity to partner with you on some tech stuff with our Star portal, directly integrating with your portal to deliver closed loan packages, and a few other things, which, by the way, thank you for that partnership. Your team was amazing to work with, and it's really kind of opened our eyes to the opportunity, with other, larger brokers, and hopefully, the challenge is not everyone's as tech savvy as you guys are, and they use out of the box solutions. So, we're trying to develop that a little bit more. But in that partnership, you've released our DSCR product to your loan officers. As Orion's the only company that you guys will allow your LOs to originate outside of their licensed states, where allowed legally by compliance. What caused you to join Orion and partner with Orion in that relationship? Besides zippers, of course.
Of course. Well, I think our values in terms of compliance aligned. And we put that, we hold that at a very high degree. And being the size of an organization we are, we have to, while there's emails coming out to loan officers that you could do DSCR loans, business purpose loans in states you're not licensed in, or states that, C2 is not licensed in, or all this stuff. And we're like, all right, we got to get to the bottom of this, because we want to be able to, last thing I want to do is hold back a loan officer from doing a deal that they should be able to do. Mm-hmm. That should be compliant. That's, all the above, that's, above board. So you and I and your team were amazing. I believed in the tech that you had that allowed, hey, if I'm a loan officer and I've got a borrower that's buying a property that's business purpose in this state, the flow chart of how you put that data in that allowed it to continue, as long as it remained compliant and it checked those boxes, aligned with what I wanted to see and what my team wanted to see. And so that was amazing. And so from that perspective, I was really trusting in that side, and and you guys have great products, but that tech, that compliance piece was paramount.
Yeah. Tech is, So incredibly important to us. I mean, the Star Portal, literally day one of starting Orion, we started building that. It started as, just an infant, simply how to lock your loan, nothing more than that, and has developed into a pretty slick broker portal that is ever changing, and we're constantly doing deployments to try to make it better and better and better. I mean, that's what it's all about. Give more control to you as the originator, and that's kind of our long-term goal there, is to give you all of the control, but with bumper rails, so that keep everything within the navigational beacons per se. So in that interview, you mentioned that your biggest competitor is yourself. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. Do you still feel that way, and why?
I do. If I allowed all the outside competitors to affect me every day, I don't really like to put that pressure. I'd rather prefer to be hard on myself. I'll never stop. I mean, that's just kind of me and my personality, and it's just always improving. That's one thing my dad used to say about my mom and my sisters. They always wanted some, it's always a new handbag, always improving. It's like nothing's ever enough. So maybe I get that from that. But I like taking this company and being on the forefront and leading and creating creative things. And that could, circle back to the artist that I was as a child, and finding that creativity it's artistic to be creative in business and just consistently improve and add value and think outside the box on what we can do to kind of constantly engage and just be resilient through all. And that's what it's going to take right now, is just being hyper resilient and just taking things to the next level, because I'm just getting started.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. You guys have had a great track record so far, and recently you're recognized by NAM as the National Broker of the Year for the West for 2022, correct?
That is correct.
What does that mean to you and your organization?
As long as everybody didn't get a trophy, it means a lot.
Participation awards?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what we're handing out now, is participation? That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I think that's great. We're trying to be as humble as possible, sure. and that's the thing. I feel like I lead a Navy SEAL team, and these folks, they dominate. And that if you've got somebody like that on your team, you're gonna go out and you're gonna kill it. And that's what we do. We let our actions speak louder than our words, and we're gonna just continue to do that. And any voice you hear from us is gonna be just positivity, educational, how we can all support each other, because more brokers that we get in this channel, I think is the best for the country, the communities within, and every rooftop, every family or every individual under every rooftop. If a broker touches that home, they're going to make the lives inside it better, whether they're saving them money so their kid can go to a karate school or ballet or a date night or whatever that is. And so that's really my driver, and how I like to lead the company, and how I like to attract talent that can just do that and really. And clearly that's working, and now it's just a different time. So it'll be interesting to see where we go from here, but I'm confident in where we're going.
Yeah, your growth is organic, and it's obviously from referrals and experience, and that's how you guys have been successful and maintained over the years. So going into 2023, what are your main areas of focus without giving anything away?
Well, to grow in 2023, we're expanding a lot across the nation to different states. And that, like mentioned, organic, it usually stems from an organic way. A loan officer we have has a borrower that's moving, and they want to be able to facilitate that move. Or that loan officer is, a Tulane alumni, and they have a big resource, a big group, a network there. And it's like, absolutely. So, we're going to get in, Louisiana just for an example, but I think that is expanding across the nation. We're going to go that way. It's interesting. We've been the #1 mortgage broker for several years, and we've only been on, a few states. And it's like, I want to be more of a household name. I want people to think of when they need a mortgage, they go to a broker, they don't go to a bank. And that's going to be, I don't think that it's a stigma to move away for, but it's just an educational piece. And I think that it's educating, buyers, sellers, homeowners, the younger generation that's looking to buy, that they're aware of their options and where to go for them. and it's through a broker channel.
Same with educating the real estate agents. It's such an important piece. It's so important because the ability to broker loans to so many different lenders that's how you get your customer the best deal. And I mean, being in wholesale, we run a low cost model because we have to compete, because there's so many good wholesale lenders out there today that are offering great product, great service, great tech. I'm pleased to be up there with them and participating in that. Lastly, what do they call now? The Great Reset. Have you heard that? What are your expectations for the housing market as our economy battles with inflation, recession, rate hikes? Any predictions that you'd like to share?
I'm definitely no economist, but we've seen cycles before, and looking at the numbers and where we're at, we're back at kind of what we saw in 2012, and we built from there. And it's the equalizer now. And I think for people to kind of be naive that this wasn't going to happen, obviously we see those that thought that built up to without anticipating something like this. We run a pretty lean organization that will facilitate 1,000 loan officers plus, or 3,000, 5,000 loans a month to 500. So you hear all these layoffs across the board, whether it's the mortgage industry or the tech industry. It's not happening at C2. This is our family, and we're here to support, and we're going to be in it to win it. And like I said before, it's about resilience, but it's a cyclical thing. We've seen this before. You could go back, and it's every 8 to 10 years, and here we are. So it's the timing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I mean, rates as low as they were for as long as they were, I mean, we all benefited from it. It was a great time. But these times of markets, I personally feel that Orion as an organization, we prevail in these times. We hold ourselves to higher standards. We work harder. We become more innovative. It becomes more of a challenge to do loans, but that's where we started. I remember back in 2007, I was selling FHA as an AE. I had one rate of 8% at a 1-point cost. And I was selling it to mini Eagles that, I used to have to take pictures of the front of their building to help them get FHA licensed. And, it's wild how I don't want to say easy it was for the last few years, but I mean, it was a refi boom. Even though it was a refi boom, we still maintained over 50% refi in 2020 purchase in 2020 and 2021. We still focused on that purchase business. And when the loans were falling out of the sky, we still were over 50% purchase, which is something that we've always focused on due to the scalability of it. It's when the refis go away, you don't want to lay people off. So we always looked at automation using bots, AI. I mean, so today that's what we're one of our main focuses on. What can we do to scale the operation so that when the next boom comes, we're not subject to going out and hiring a ton of people that at an inflated cost, and then ultimately, when the next down cycle comes, you've got to downsize. So it's all about scalability, automation, using the tech to benefit you. And we've got, and Tracy Corbett, who runs our tech, she's absolute genius when it comes to it. Plus, she's got a great accent that people like to hear. But it's I'm really looking forward to 2023 and onward. And of course, the partnership with you at C2, I have every intention to make it to the next quarterly C2 Connect event. It's never a bad time flying into San Diego, I'll tell you that. But I really appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me today. And congratulations on your success, and best of luck on the continued success.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I look forward to continuing to invest in each other's businesses and growing together.
Absolutely. David, thank you so much, bud.
Thanks, Chris.